God, if we... What's going on, everybody? This is Folks and Gentlemen. We're your hosts, Roy Gravis, Bucky Pender. Your hair, sir, is magnificent in this humidity.
Lots and lots of hairspray.
I can imagine.
Hey,
Yes,
is one of those
no.
mine? I brought 3.
Oh, I've got 9 total.
Okay, well, I brought 3.
Yeah, I don't... That's a Whiskey Fest,
I don't know.
and a Lake Street.
Oh, well, I see. Is it in the... I think it's in my bag.
Yours is
Let
still
me
in the
grab
bag. I see it.
it. All right, anyways.
Yeah. Amateur hour already. Amateur hour already. Sweet Jesus. God, the camera's close.
I know. I was just thinking that.
I usually can see more of my head than this.
Yeah, well, your head's quite large, so it takes up a lot of the screen anyway.
Well, that's true. I mean, I guess I can... Hey, it's a hall monitor.
Hey,
He's the first
Kevin.
one, too. That's not like him.
That's never like Kevin.
Wow. Wowie zowie. That's not like him at all to be the first one in the comments. He usually comes in about 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in there. I guess mediocrity is a thing out there in Ohio. Isn't Kevin from Ohio? Yeah, I think mediocrity is a thing out there. I don't know.
About all that.
I'm not going to lie. I had different intentions for tonight's episode just because of who we had coming on. I was going to wear my OU Sucks shirt.
Yeah?
But I decided not to because it's
He
great.
hasn't texted me, so I don't know if he's actually in yet or not.
Oh, he's probably not in. I need to be entertained. Been sick for 3 days. Bless your heart.
We're sorry, buddy. Hope
We're
you feel
sorry.
better.
Did you have pneumonia?
Look, I'm just going to go ahead and switch.
Because apparently
You
that's
didn't know.
yeah, apparently that's a thing that's going on right now. We have a new sponsor.
We do.
We can go ahead and announce that one. My nose itches. I got something going on up in there. I sneezed like 3 times while you were outside smoking. Did you not send him?
No, it changed. Keep going.
Lord. Okay,
keep talking.
Yes, we have a new sponsor, Ghostwood Whiskey. We have their coasters on the table right now. They signed on with us Tuesday, I think. We've been both relatively busy. I've been doing schoolwork and other things, mainly running around playing Mr. Mom with the kids, first week of school, all that jazz. So go beyond the firelight and grab you a bottle of Ghostwood today if you can find it.
Yes.
I know we have it in our market. It's pretty prevalent in our market.
Yeah, you can find it just about everywhere.
Find it just about everywhere. If you're at your local watering hole or restaurant or eatery type place, ask them to carry it and tell them you know a guy that could possibly help out with that.
Yeah.
So good stuff. Ghostwood's on board. That makes 4 now? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Yes, 4. Okay. I had to keep counting my head. I'm like,
just real quick, since we are doing that, and he is not quite in yet.
Oh, of course
so I don't
he's
want to
not.
make any kind of announcements yet.
yes.
Not that it's not in the title.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but
yeah.
thank you to all of our sponsors, including the newest one, Ghostwood
Yes,
Whiskey,
yes.
along with Longhorn Liquor,
Yes.
10th Mountain Whiskey,
Yes.
and Heart of Alliance Cigars.
Yes.
We couldn't do the show without you.
We are actually members of the Lion Pride.
Yes, we are.
So-
They're the main choice for
They are the
gentlemen.
main choice, yes. The main choice for the gentleman. I like it. 10th Mountain Whiskey, ski on in and get you a bottle if you can find it.
Gosh. So, how has your week been? As we previously discussed, you are still unemployed.
It's been kind of it's been eye-opening and boring all at the same time. Because I start my day out I get up about 6. I take one of the kids to school. Brandy and I are doing split duty this year. She drops our daughter. I drop our son because they're at 2 different campuses now. He and I have some pretty good car chats.
Yeah?
I may start mentioning those a little bit more as we go along.
Okay.
But first day was a little difficult for him. New campus, new environment, all
Right.
that stuff. He was a little lost because they didn't get to do any kind of orientation or stuff like that. Run and start was literally pick up your schedule. Hey, we'll see you Wednesday.
Hit the ground running.
Hit the ground running. So, as you know, with autistic children, you can't always do that. So
We need a plan.
Wednesday was a little difficult. Thursday got a little better. Today he had no problem finding all of his classes. So we're making improvements there.
Awesome.
With help from a certain individual who watches the show, which would be your stepmommy, my mother, your stepmother. I put in a faucet.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I put in a new mowing faucet with a sprayer, and
Here at the house
Here
or
at my house.
her house?
No, God, no. No, I wouldn't do either.
That's your mother.
I unloaded a 26-foot U-Haul with your help last time my mother asked me to do something.
This is true.
It is Blythe, and oh my goodness, that is
Blythe.
Is that a
What's
man
going
bun?
on?
That's
Yes,
a
of
majestic
course it's a
man,
man
bun.
bun.
That's a majestic man bun at that. He's smiling like, God, I hate that fat dude with the hat.
Yeah, well.
He's already in it.
Oh, shit. All right. So
yeah, week's been both. I've been everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. I've handled some city business. I guest co-host So Here's the Thing last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was interesting because we were doing the last push for the Road to Ireland Girls Powerlifting fundraiser. What did you do? I don't know how to do this. There he is. I see movement.
all right, he's moving now.
He's there. Yes,
right.
hook him, baby. I
Oh,
love
God.
it.
I'm disconnect.
No, not disconnect. You're out. You're outnumbered this time.
All right. So, real quick, without further ado, since
he's here.
This man is absolutely amazing, and he is such a huge representative for not only the Mexican community in distilleries, but minorities
that's
as
Hispanic. You can't
Hispanic community, as well as minorities in whiskey, in distilleries.
Ooh, we should do a whole series on that.
He is a phenomenal Texas whiskey connoisseur. He does a top 10 list. This man is absolutely fantastic to watch. He does a live on Instagram, ATX Whiskey Society, so you can find him there. And you can follow him on Instagram at El Whiskilero. Don't ask me to say it again or spell it, but he can do that a little bit later.
Yeah, he can
so
spell
without
it.
further...
Is it his stuff? What are you doing? It's been a hot minute since we've done this, huh?
Can you hear us?
Got me. I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
we
muted.
hear you. He's like, Jesus Christ.
No, I got that.
I don't know what's going on right now. This is going to be a wild episode. We have to read lips because I'm going to need Emiliano to talk really slow for that. Where are we at? Do you want to try to bring him back in on another link? Maybe that's the issue?
That's not the issue.
Okay,
you hear me?
that's not
You hear
the
me?
issue. Okay, let's see if we can talk ourselves through this. Monitor only. That's a set. What? I can't read what Blythe's talking about. I don't know. There's no telling.
I can't hear. We can't hear you, bud.
Yeah.
All right.
Can anybody hear
hear
him in the
you.
comments?
Damn, that's wild.
He's like, I can't hear me. Do you understand the
Wild.
words that are coming out of my mouth? He's like, God, yes, Roy. Everybody understands what you're doing. Turn it all up. Is that it?
Do I need to hop out?
No, you're good.
Yes, you're
No,
good.
you're good.
Fantastic.
Oh shit!
Hey, you're
Shit.
good.
Damn it, man! You leave us sooner to do the job.
I
and-
know.
Hey,
That dude
Holy
he did
shit.
not go to the Macomb School of Business, nor did he go to the entertainment department and get coached by Matthew McConaughey. Hey,
You know what?
That he did not. Holy shit, man!
Look,
What
guys.
are we doing here?
We don't know. We're not
No, man.
professionals. We never claimed to be.
No.
Oh yeah, no, man. Professional drinkers, as one of my old mentors said.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
That's all it is.
So how are you this evening, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Fucking,
Good.
it's been like a long 2 weeks, just one thing after another. Mostly good, but I mean, whatever is bad, you just recover from, and it's no problem.
That's right.
You just add it to the fucking sack, man. It is what it is. But
I got to get with whoever does his wardrobe because that Spider-Man 2099 shirt is legit as shit.
oh yeah, man. Yes, sir.
I have
Yellow head, bro.
I have issue number 1.
Same, bro. Yeah, and I have it signed by. Oh my god.
Oh, see, he's already a level ahead of me already. I don't have mine signed.
Oh my god, the Mexicano who did all the art for it.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, god damn it.
What is his name?
I bragged on you about being such a great person for the Hispanic community, and now all of a sudden you just forget people's names like that.
Well,
Oh man, I'll tell you what, bro. Unless it's like, in all honesty, unless it's like part of like my fucking spectrum of like focus. I mean, names get lost, names and shit. It's all.
So Bucky gave you a good introduction, but he did not introduce you by your full name. So I'm going to take a stab at the last part of it. It's Guajardo, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Emiliano Angel Guajardo, and then my Nahuatl name is Chanchitotli. But yeah.
See, he does the Guajardo, that kind of thing. I can't do that. I just pronounce it like it is. It's the accent thing.
So what are you sipping on there, bud? Because we ain't even poured nothing yet.
No.
Nah, man. I mean, I'm working at the end of the
the
straight rye bottle and bond. You know, and I fucked up. I didn't pick up a bottle of it, but the high rye bottle and bond just dropped today, the 6th year. Man, if I'll say this, last year's was really fucking good. I was not kind of anticipating or expecting it to be as good as it ended up being.
Yeah.
This year, the whole extra year on it is like,
well, it's the same with the red, dude. The red corn is the same way. Like that 5 year is outstanding.
Oh yeah, man! I've already been through, I think, 4 bottles of it.
Of course,
we've already been through. That's awesome. I love that. I've already been through 4 bottles. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it's a fucking good whiskey, man. I'm trying to see if there's any more. No, it doesn't look like it. But
man, I don't think anything y'all have turned out so far that at least has hit my palate.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't hated any of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love y'all's rye a little more than your regular.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
the bottle and bond rye.
Yeah, well, even the cask strength rye, like the cask strength rye. I've got a bottle on the table right now that I picked up from James last year at the clay shoot for cure rare disease that Longhorn Liquor does. So I picked it up last year, so it's last year's rye cask strength. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, I feel you. I will say little insider information on it. The rye, the artist, essentially what it goes by, the artist and the cask strength version of it, we are working towards bringing up and elevating into kind of a 3-year age profile. It's just also while we're kind of waiting for some of these barrels to age out, man. Again, little insider info. So a couple of years ago, prior to my time with Still, so this is just not, it's before my time, so the fucking whatever you want to call it, not my problem. But I'll say this: so Jason Harry, who's the manager of education or the head of education for Still Awesome, and he's also the person who runs the entirety of Order of Nancy and whatnot. He tasted out all of the distillers at the Distillers Evening for the Texas Whiskey Festival. On the anticipated release at the time of the rye. At that time, it included that blend, a couple of 3-year-old barrels and then a 2-year-old barrel just to fill in for the flavor. That was what we expected to hit the market. At the time, I was still in the retail portion of the industry, jumping into the distilling.
Okay.
And what we got in the fucking stores was not what we tried out at the Whiskey Festival.
Oh, shit.
That being said, I do and I have been very kind of self-critical as a distillery about our rye.
Mm-hmm.
I am very happy to see where it is now, and I'm extremely happy for everybody else to see what these are tasting like. Coming out of the barrel and as we get them a little bit older. But the next year's straight rye will be 5 years. So
very nice.
And if I'm not mistaken, Nancy, one of the Nancy's picks coming out soon is going to be the first rye that she's done, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's in September.
Is it September?
But you will, I think either that or they're going to do kind of balance out the releases, because at this point, all of the Nancy Select bourbons typically sell out by the second week of the month. Mm-hmm. So it'd be an interesting thing if they end up releasing the rye in the second or third week of that month to kind of balance out for not having single barrels on the shelves.
Very nice.
But yeah, that Nancy rye is coming pretty fucking quick.
Man, I think anything that has Nancy's name on it alone just flies off the shelves, man. She's really good at what she does. That nose needs to be insured for $1 million plus at least.
Oh, bro, I am I would be flabbergasted if she did not have that shit insured, man.
She'd
If
have to,
fucking
yeah.
if the Kardashians can insure whatever the hell they're doing, then yeah, Nancy can definitely put some change on that.
Yeah, well, for sure. Because I mean, hell, there's been times I know in my lifetime, Tina Turner had her legs insured. Carrie Underwood had hers insured at one time. I mean, it's when you got something that works, you got to insure the shit out of it, bro, and make sure it don't break.
Man. Well, the dude that wrote the book Warehouse H, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name either. He's got his entire Blanton's collection insured as well.
Yeah, you can do shit like that.
I mean,
there's companies out there.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, I got insurance on my storage unit, so yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta do it, man.
So real quick, just to kind of back up a little bit because we dove right in. For those that are watching that don't know exactly who you are, where you came from, can you give a little bit of a backstory on who Emiliano is and how you ended up at Still Austin?
Yeah, man. So I am Emiliano Guajardo. I am a born and raised 4th generation East Austinite. Proud Texas, all the way to the blood, Tejano. I was born and raised through education, went to school for it, got a bachelor's degree in philosophy, minor in anthropology, archaeology, with the focus in American Indigenous history and study. Then UT, master's program in curriculum instruction for high school.
I will cut your damn hand off. You do that hand motion again in my presence.
And it's all good, man. It's not a flag no more. We can hit them now. We can hit them.
Yeah, we can hit them.
Yeah. But no, yeah. So UT curriculum instruction, focusing soul studies, hyper focus in Native American history, and at that time was already in the spirits industry for about 4.5, almost 5 years by the time I was doing all that. And COVID hit, graduated from UT in the middle of COVID, and just kind of figured, I see what my pops is dealing with, he's a professor over at Texas State. See what my wife's dealing with. She's an elementary bilingual dual language educator. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. It is not for me. And I already got, and I will say this, it is never the kids. The kids are never the problem. I want to make that always
right.
very extremely 100% blatantly clear.
Right with that.
It is never the children's fault, nor the children that make you want to leave. That being said, yeah, I at that point had already had a good kind of foothold and, roots in the Texas industry as far as whiskey goes. I mean, my first real sit-down whiskey, like sit down and enjoy it, was Garrison Brothers. So they will always have a sweet heart in a place in my heart. And at that time, I just fucking put a couple of applications into a couple of distilleries who were picking up, and trying to hire distillers, bottling managers, etc. Got in the door with Treaty Oak, and it's been fucking go ever since then.
There you go. I like it.
2 years at Treaty, did a couple months as the bottling manager, hit the floor, distilling pretty quickly after that. And then for those who know a little bit of just the background, you know what happened, and nothing. It's just, man. I'll tell you what, man. We're just that. Yeah, it is what it is, and we're all good, and we're all happy. And I still got a lot of love for a lot of folks over at TO. But I am now completed my first year full at Still Austin.
Very nice. Good job.
I ain't going nowhere, man.
So some of the
I
stuff.
wouldn't either with that gig.
Yeah, right. Some of the stuff on the shelf right now from TO, would that technically be your work?
If I'm not mistaken, I can try to get a little bit of insider info. Like I said, I'm still close with the remaining distiller, and then some of the managerial folks over there. Haven't asked them yet, but I do know that the day drinker is minimum a year old,
right?
Which means 2 years removed now. Those barrels were most likely something that I worked on.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be a pretty cool feeling, like knowing your stuff is sitting on a shelf, even if it's not with the company you're not with currently.
Yeah, man, 100%. No, I mean, I'll say this, man. It's like I said, I truly believe, and in this industry, having been in this industry now almost a fucking better part of a decade, in different capacity, you really, really, really learn really fucking fast that you have to separate the art and the artist. Some people, I'll say this, some people think Dan Garrison is the fucking biggest goddamn asshole. You know what? Every single damn time I have met him since the first time I met him 3 fucking years ago through passing at the Texas Whiskey Festival, every single experience that I've had with him since then, he's remembered my name, he's shaken my hand, and he's asked me, so where are you at now?
That's awesome.
So I love the man. But not everybody's nice. Not everybody wants to make friends, and to me, that's totally fine. Do you make good whiskey? And then that's what we're all here for. If you make good whiskey, I'm gonna talk about it. I mean, there's something for everybody. If it ain't for me, somebody else is buying it.
Yeah.
So, again, all that being said, still love Treaty Oak whiskey, and I am just proud of what we've been able to put out that still is coming out, that at this point I know that there's a chance that I had a hand in it, or like the last project that they put out for Memorial Day, the cognac finished barrel, that was my last project over there. That I was the finishing. I did put a whole bunch of whiskey in different barrels, and I finished whiskey in double barrels, and that was my last project at Treaty Oak, and it's fucking good.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Very nice.
So, kind of sticking on that same subject, you talking about Dan Garrison in a little bit different capacity. If you could be a guest distiller at any distillery in Texas, where would it be? And then on the flip side of that, if you could invite any distiller from any Texas distillery to Still Austin to guest distill, who would you invite? And they have to be 2 different people.
God, you're putting him on the spot now. Hurry. Jesus.
No, man. Here's the thing. That's a great question because I don't know if this is ever going to get out there, but there's been talks about something potentially like that going on. I like it. Man, I'll tell you what, because I got 6 in mind. So I'll give you my top 3 of who I would love to go and kind of like distill at as a guest.
Okay.
Bent Distilling, and no specific order. Bent Distilling. If you've not been out to Bent up in Lewisville, Texas, Northwest Dallas area, you have to go. Give me a heads up. I'll make sure their head distiller is there. I'll make sure Riley, who's their sales manager, is there. Give you the whole fucking 9, the whole back tour, everything. They're
good people.
all phenomenal people, very good friends, family at this point. And they've got a fucking submarine still. Oh my god, bro! It's
seriously
beautiful. Yes, it. If you look it up, it is literally in the shape of like little yellow submarine. Like
I was gonna ask if it was yellow or not because I went to the Beatles automatically when he said submarine. I'm like, this is a yellow submarine.
So it's not yellow, but it is like that exact shape. Like you think about that little, video yellow submarine.
Yeah,
it looks exactly like that. That's insane.
Crazy.
I'd love to work with that, and then pick the brain of Jacob, man. Their head distiller. Jacob is a badass. He's making crazy fucking shit. He brought this weird, I guess it would just be considered a distilled spirit, but it was mesquite smoked tuna from the cactus.
Okay.
The little,
really?
the little fruit. Mesquite smoked tuna distilled spirit.
Holy shit.
Insane.
That's
Tastes
crazy.
like juice. It was 130 proof.
Nice.
Wild. Yeah. So there, I would love to guest distill over at Giant in Houston.
Okay.
Man, again, Julian, head distiller over there, is a friend.
That dude's good people.
He's the shit.
Yeah.
Michael is also a good friend. He's the shit.
I called Michael today, actually.
Yeah,
man. And I just want to see all of that shit. Holy
it's massive,
crap,
dude.
Yeah, it's a big facility.
The I mean, and when we went, we just went as like kind of just to sit down and eat. We just went to their fucking tap room, and that place is beautiful
Dude,
too.
I was gonna say, just the tap room alone, you could go and just
exactly
have a great time, great drinks, great
100%.
food.
Yeah. And then the other one, man, fucking Andalusia. I'm always gonna keep Andalusia, man. It's Andalusia. I've been honored to have known Moose for how long I have, and been able to pick his brain. We've helped each other out. He's given me samples that I needed to like do this high viscosity proofing on. We've traded whiskey on plethora of occasion. It's all his. I mean, the door to Andalusia is always open for anybody and everybody. And then their head brewer, Andrew, who runs their very beautiful 1,000-gallon fucking pot still. I mean, I trained him up. He's my boy. That's I brought him up over at Treaty Oak. We worked there for about a year and a half-ish together. And when Andalusia was hiring, and Ty and I very respectfully said, "Hey, our price ranges are a little off. Totally fine." I said, "Okay, if not me, you need to get my boy over here. He's gonna love it. Y'all gonna love him." And it's been a happy marriage ever since.
Nice.
So, yeah, those would probably be my three that I'd love to guess is still out. And then I have so many people I can list off that I would love to have over, but I'll just give one because if you know me, I'm always open to have distillers over. I've hosted plenty of folks, and I will continue to do it over at Still. But the one who comes to mind who's not been to Still yet, and I've not really been able to in-person socialize with, is Chappie from Chaplin. Their head distiller. Chapman Distillery up in Shirts? Northwest San Antonio. No, Bulverde. Mike is the company owner, distillery owner. He's a very dear good friend of mine. Chappie, their head distiller, met him on a couple of occasions, but have not really been able to sit down in person, shoot the shit, show the still around, vice versa, and whatnot. And I think he's doing crazy shit over there. I just saw that they're doing something with malted red corn. So I would love to have him over and just like walk through everything from mill to mash to age to firm to fucking still, and then show him the rick houses. I mean, because the rick houses are, I mean, beasts in their own self, right? So yeah, I think just immediately, and just to keep it to one, I would probably do Chappie, because he, like I said, he's a good guy, and he's got this just beautiful mind of picking out flavors, picking out grain, and this very amazing opportunity to be able to bring up a company and distillery that is so small like Chaplin to realistically where they're at right now. And if you haven't had them, you're missing out.
Yeah, that's one I've seen you post about on your Instagram a few times, and every time you post it, I'm like, dang it, I got to get me some of that.
Yeah.
You talk so highly about them, and...
Yeah, man. No, I mean, so thankfully, I believe you can actually find a good chunk of their stuff in Total Wines, minimum. But their Meticulum, which is going to be their Triticale bourbon, and then their Critical Batch, which is their 80-20 bourbon, 80% white corn, 20% malted barley. Mash bill. Insane shit, but really fucking good.
So what do you think so far out of all the quote-unquote experimental things that you've done in your tenure in the industry, what's the craziest one that when you started working on, you're like, I don't know if this thing's going to move, I don't know if anybody's going to buy it, and then it turned out to be really, really amazing?
Man, well, you know, I'm gonna give you a full insider. Something that is not gonna be out for minimum another 3 years.
What?
So my first week at, I guess first month at Still, man, holy shit, we were put through the ringer. Or at least I was, for everybody else, it was just a regular, like, fucking month, So I won't, well, I guess I'll say this one just because, like, they've been open as a company on, about it. But, so we distill also 101. We make also 101.
Right.
The process of making light whiskey is fucking insane. You are really pushing, specifically even our still. And for those who aren't familiar with it, our still is a rum still that we kind of have just outfitted and maneuvered and tweaked to make really good fucking bourbon off of. That being said, it doesn't have the extra fittings and the real potential to make vodka or naturally and easily make high proof spirit or neutral grain spirit to the capacity that you need to make a gin base or light whiskey. So that was my first week at Still Austin, figuring out how to work a still and how to work with a mill that, mind you, I never worked with a mill. Treaty Oak had a milling company on site that they milled all our grain for, and we just got it already into like the fine powder, the grist. And so that was a learning curve, learning how to run a still at capacity that it's not supposed to make this light whiskey shit was a learning curve. And then just, figuring out whatever else was kind of in between. That was my first week, and we just, balls to the wall, filled out the barrels that we needed to for also 101, and then proceeded for 2.5 straight weeks, do what we are calling our DRS week, or Distillery Reserve Series week, where we just essentially order a whole bunch of different super sacks of grain and make weird fucking mash bills. So the crew that I'm still working with, thankfully, for my shift team, Bam and Derek, who both are phenomenal distillers. Bam comes from the brewing world. Oscar Blues was where he was at, head brewer for quite some time. And then Derek, who comes from the rum world in Louisiana, he did Bayou Rum, and then came over here, and he's been at Still now for, I believe this is his 4th year. But neither of them really, I think, had kind of like an idea of what we were wanting to do for our team shift mash bill. So they just straight up said, "Here's the list of fucking grain. I mean, like, put a mash bill together. We'll fine tune the quantities." And so I was like, "All right, cool." So our shift team landed on a malted red, malted blue, triticale, and it's a specific brewer's malt that, when it's distilled, extracts deep blueberry and blackberry flavors from the yeast and from the fermentation. And we just put it together. We got the malt portion as high percentage as we could to make it not clog the still, and we just ran with it. And so that was probably my first real, like, putting together a mash bill, and kind of just like hoping for the best and having a little bit of experience with some of the flavors from each grain, and just like, you know what, I think this is gonna fucking work together. Well, a couple of weeks ago, we sampled those barrels that are now a year old, and holy shit, it's going to work.
So I asked you that question to pitch you an idea.
Oh, God.
Bucky knows where I'm going with this. I've done this literally everywhere I went to. I need somebody with the cojones to smoke their grain with cigar leaves of some kind to make a true cigar batch. And I have pitched this to a number of distilleries. I even pitched it to Tex Malt when I was in August last year. They were interested, but they didn't know where they could get the leaves. I know a guy that might could get leaves. I don't know. But it's always been a fascination of mine. And what turned me on to it was, matter of fact, Acres Texas Smoked. I mean, not to kind of steer away from still Austin, but
Acre, man, JB up there, the fucking
JB, yeah. So when he did his Texas Smoke, they did it with pecan and peach wood, and the peach tree came out of his front yard. So I thought to myself, okay, if you can smoke malt and barley and all that stuff, if you can smoke that with peach wood, pecan wood, whatever, why can't you do it with a cigar leaf?
Mm-hmm.
And I need somebody to figure it out.
Well, so I'll tell you what. I got the fucking balls to do it, man. I just don't know if we're gonna be able to do it. And still, I'm not sure if that's a project we can pitch out there. But I know some folks who would probably be interested in that.
I mean, I got a barrel if we need that.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I don't know if it's about the barrel as much as like who's got the capacity in the smokehouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I already got a couple folks in mind now that I think we can do like a crossover kind of team up.
I got you.
We'll work something out. But yeah, I honestly ain't never fucking thought of doing something like that. So that's a phenomenal idea.
Man, the thing that kind of turned me on to it, like I said, was the thing from Acre, but also like Joseph Magnus. They claim to have the best cigar blend bourbon around, and
careful, Nancy blends that one too.
I was going to say that's a Nancy product.
I know it's a Nancy thing.
Careful,
I get it, but
I don't know if I don't know if anybody's doing it the actual way that I described it. I guess
no. Well, not on a large scale, at least.
I'll tell you this also. So I've not had a cigar blend from Joseph Magnus since 22, I believe. The cigar blend that we put together at Still.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
not even fucking close.
Yeah,
not even fucking close.
Yeah, not even close at all. No, I get that. I just
Y'all wait for that shit to hit the shelf.
The idea just intrigues me. Like it intrigues me greatly. Like
absolutely.
Like I could see.
I don't know how much of that you can talk about, but that's red, white, and blue corn, is it not?
Yeah, so it's going to be it is a red, white, and blue bourbon blend. There is the batch is 40 barrels. I don't remember the exact percentages of it, but yeah, it's certain quantities of the blue corn, the red corn, and then the white corn, which is our mainstay bourbon mash bill. And then they are proof down not with reverse osmosis water, but proof down with what's called Patillo water, which is water that you reverse osmosis water, but you put into previously used barrels, so that the water ages in the barrel,
right?
And realistically pushes out into the barrel and pulls out the residual alcohol that's in that barrel, so that once it comes out of the barrel, the water is like, it's got an alcohol content. So you use that water to proof down the final blend.
Yeah.
And the final blend at proofing is, I believe, 113-ish before proofing down with the Patillo. After proofing down with Patillo, I think we liked it at 106. So it's fucking.
I'm excited about it.
That's really fucking good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm all a quiver now.
I know. I'm stoked.
I'm all a quiver.
So you're kind of a Texas whiskey connoisseur, and that's one of the things I enjoy a lot about following you on Instagram is all of the Texas whiskey talk that you do in addition to Still. And kind of what brought this up was Jake, who does the Thursday night show with me on Instagram. He said,
Jake Clemens?
No.
No, Jake
Jake. Yeah.
Not Texas Whiskey Fest, Jake.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I was like, man, I just saw Jake today. Like, fucking. No. Okay, so that's right, Bama Jake.
Yeah,
Bama Jake.
But Jake Clements' video where he is like, I have never tried Texas whiskey before.
The lesser UT Jake. The lesser UT Jake. That's right.
Yeah. But so he said, I don't care what anyone says. The 2023 Cowboy Bourbon was one of the best whiskeys released last year. So you do a top 10 at the end of every year, correct? Of Texas whiskeys. Where did you have Cowboy 2023 on your list?
So it's on the list for this year.
Okay.
I'll say this. This is gonna be now my 4th year in a row doing in some capacity a top 10. My first year doing it with my buddy Brandon, who we co-run the ATX Whisky Society page. We did it strictly based off of feeling, strictly based off of like memory. Like we didn't keep samples of anything, you know, it was just all heart, you know. The second year was very similar to that, but we had some whiskeys that we were able to kind of go back to and like reference. Last year was the first time that we really held on to samples. And then this year I've got the little Agent North sets. I've already got 4 full fucking 12 packs full of samples that
ready to go.
I'm gonna work through in the end of the year to do it. Now, that being said, I have come to realization that you cannot do a December end of year whiskey like top 10 when there's so much shit happening in December.
Yeah.
So I have come up with my personal, what I call the whiskey fiscal year. So the cutoff for the beginning of the next year and the end of the last is October 1st.
Okay.
October 1st, when all of the crazy shit, the fucking,
going down, yeah.
The second batch of Elijah Craig, the fucking, BTAC start hitting, the Weller 12s start getting released out of the fucking, storages, the 107s, the fucking birthdays that were hiding in the bag, all that shit. The October 1st is the cutoff. So October 1st of last year, and it will go all the way to September, whatever the fuck last day of September is this year.
Right.
That is my whiskey fiscal year. So,
okay.
The Cowboy, I think, was released like
November,
mid-October, something like that, or maybe October? Late September. It might have been September. But for me, it fell way too close, and I was just not able to get a bottle by that time. So it's gonna fall into this year.
Okay.
And it's just, we're making up our own rules, right? So right. I was like, there's enough leeway. It's just gonna fucking go to the next year.
Do whatever you want.
Exactly, right. But I'll tell you what. So when I had visited Chaplin, and I was hanging out with Mike a couple months ago, I was like, I told him, I was like, hey man, yeah. He was saying, what do you like? What have you been excited about? Blah blah. And we just got to talking and told him, I was like, I haven't had it yet. He just goes behind the fucking bar and pulls out this unopened, Garrison Hazmat 2023. I'm like, all right, I guess we're cracking it now. I am telling you, when that shit drinks 110 proof, it is terrifying. It is terrifying.
Yes.
But it's a chocolate bomb. It hit every single fucking thing for me, man. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be in contention. It is right now one of the 48, 60-something samples that I have that I'll be trying out at the end of the year. But, yeah, really fucking good whiskey.
Are there any sleepers on that list that come to mind?
Man.
And if you say Still Austin Rare Stock, I'm going to punch you through the camera.
Can you do that? Man, yeah, is that physically?
No. You know what? So that's not a sleeper.
No.
I mean, I just gotta be honest. Yeah, the Rare Stock, I can extremely confidently say I'm gonna have to do something to where I like. It's just so unique to pick out. If once you have it, there's no way you're not gonna be able to pick it up. That being said, sleeper, man, I'll say this. I think one of the sleepers is kind of the coming from San Antonio, the malted rye 4-year from, and I think I got the bottle right here somewhere. Sam Maverick, though.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they released their 4-year-old distilled in-house malted rye, and holy shit, man! It's a weird, funky, chocolate, musty, malty kind of whiskey that it works for me. It hits for me. I know not everybody's been a fan of everything that Sam Maverick has released, but they've got something that they do, and I think they probably keep a little bit more of their heads in the distillation process. Like they cut a little early, before it's all that pulled out. But I really like it. It's gonna be extremely unique. It's gonna be one of those where I'm like, I taste it, I'm like, "Ah, fuck, I know what this is. I'm just gonna have to like really fucking like bring myself to properly kind of try it and not be biased. But I think that might be one of the sleepers. Chaplin, just because of how small they are, is again extremely unique flavor profile. I'm gonna be able to pick it out, but they were my number one last year. They beat Ladybird.
Oh wow!
And yeah, 3 nights in a row. Well, 3 nights in a row, I sampled about 58 different whiskeys, and every single fucking time, it was the top 2 was Ladybird and Chaplin. And
Really?
Chaplin beat him out every single fucking time.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's crazy because I think Ladybird is 100% one of my top 3 bourbons all fucking time.
Oh wow!
Really?
So fucking good. Yeah,
that's surprising.
So fucking good.
Okay, I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm partial to what's in my glass right now. Honestly,
it would be pretty further down on the list for me. I'll say that. It's good. Don't get me wrong.
I feel you.
It's really good.
I also think I'm figuring out your palate in like every respect. No, I mean, and I don't mean that.
It's not a single malt or Scotch palate. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that it's not either one of those.
I think Ladybird could have smashed if it was a little bit higher, like a almost cast strength, if not cast strength, because Honeydew is great. The whole Honeydew thing is great, and what they're doing with Ladybird is fantastic. It just, I don't know, for some reason it fell a little short for me because I almost bought a bottle whenever it was released. And it's super allocated. I think the Longhorn down here in Beaumont only got like 6 bottles themselves, and I had an opportunity to buy one. But at $200, I was like, I'm just not sure. Well, Michael Wright, the general manager for Longhorn, came on our show, and he happened to have one, and I tried it, and I was like, it's really good, but it's not a $200 bottle for me.
I 100% agree with what Jake just said. There needs to be a Texas monthly for Texas whiskeys. I like that. That's a good one.
I really do too. That's
a good idea for sure.
There's a little team that we're trying to. I'm trying to get something similar going.
There you go.
It's we're all just trying to fill up our live calendars. Right?
Yeah, we're just trying to do what we do. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say for anybody who is listening, just a quick plug. Caleb from Texas Whiskey Geek. If you're not following him, the man's a genius. He's beautiful with the camera. And check out his website. He's got it in his bio. But
he's got a full calendar on there of events.
Yeah,
so
it's
really
fucking cool. Everything popping off. So yeah,
absolutely, 100% agree with that. It's a Texas Whiskey or TX Whiskey Geek on Instagram.
Yep.
Absolute great follow. He does good stuff, and like Emiliano said, his website's great. It's got events, a full calendar, and everything.
I'm stealing this.
What is this?
No, I'm not going to tell you because I'm stealing it.
So, kind of speaking of the Texas Monthly for Texas Whiskey thing, spreading the good word is Christian, the single barrel manager, up in Illinois right now.
Yeah.
So how far out does Still Austin reach?
So we are in 34 states. If I'm not mistaken, 30 of those states is due to Total Wine.
Okay.
We're Spirits Direct with them. And then there's 4 independent states. So it's Texas, Louisiana, and if I'm not mistaken, it is Illinois, one of them, I think, and then Florida is, I believe, the other one. So we're in more than half of the states in the U.S. I don't know how international we are, but I'll tell you, I've taken plenty bottles over to Mexico. So
they're getting their fill.
He's like, I know we're south of the border, man. I get that one.
Yeah,
that's funny.
But yeah, I'm not too sure about how international we are. It's interesting trying to figure out how and just learning about how international a lot of distilleries in Texas are. Yellow Rose is like second,
Spain?
if not biggest. Well, their biggest market outside of Texas is fucking South Korea.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's insane. And then I believe Andalusia and Real Ale, Real Spirits just got into South Korea as well.
Okay.
I know Treaty Oaks got kind of a toe in Norway, something like that, Sweden as well.
The Swiss like everybody. They're neutral.
They're neutral.
They like everybody.
They'll just say yes to be nice. Yeah.
Exactly. But you know, so I can say that about still minimum 34 states. Don't know how international, but
so on the on the Mexico thing, what's the perception like whenever you bring Still Austin to Mexico? And what's the perception for bourbon in general like? Obviously tequila is going to be the big thing, but what's Mexico's perception of bourbon from what you know, at least?
So from what I get like direct interaction with, there's a fear, and I think the fear just comes from like the dark spirit, the dark liquor, you know. Right. But man, it's just like I say, everything in moderation. If you let something else control you, then that's the problem. And I think there's just kind of like that ancestral or hidden historical kind of anxiety for it. But I mean, my wife's family likes it when I bring it on. So like, you know, like we work through it, and you know, we a little bit of it might be traditions too, because traditions are really 100%. Big in the Mexican culture. I mean, and if bourbon's not a part of that tradition, well then, you know, why should I drink? I mean, and the funny thing is, there's again, this is like my teacher coming out, but you know, Texas Mexicans, man, Tejanos, we've got a fucking deep history with whiskey. Yeah. You know, people think about bootlegging and think about, you know, the Prohibition era, and they think just, you know, Chicago, mobsters, mafia, Al Capone, blah, blah, blah. People don't realize that, you know, Mexico, people were smuggling down bourbon and whiskey south of the border, and then they were smuggling tequila up into the north of the side of the border. One of my great-grandparents was a bootlegger, or in Mexican, like, there you go. Spanglish community, it's called a bulega, down in South Texas. And bad business with Al Capone went south of the border, and, you know, we reverted back to Mexicans instead of Texas Mexicans.
Mexicans.
But you know, but that's all whiskey, you know, it's all whiskey. And so I think this is, again, just the importance of like how it is in Texas that we get more people who have been here for generations and most likely have some kind of rooting one way or another in, you know, historical whiskey. Like we got to be here, and we've got a history with it. And I think just it's more of like remembering, relearning that history and how do we do it right. You
know? So you brought up the dark spirits type thing. So for personally, I'd like to know, why did Still Austin stop selling the new make? Going back to the dark versus clear thing, why was that? What was the thought process? I know you weren't there during that time, but the new make is no longer available, and that kind of made me sad.
Yeah, so I think it was probably just, I mean, trying to establish ourselves as like tried and true whiskey makers, you know. I think that's always been, not that it's been an identity crisis, but I think it's something that, you know, still being in Austin, being in like the hippie, hipster kind of town, like, can these guys really do it? I think it's given still kind of a chip on the shoulder. And so that first new make, you know, I was talking to John the other day, our head distiller.
Yeah.
I remember meeting, you know, a clean shaven, you know, 7 years younger John, when John went with the master distiller at the time, Mike Delvante, and Chris Seals, walking the fucking liquor stores. And I remember, you know, my first 2 months at the liquor stores was John's first 2 months at Still Austin. And we met each other 7 years ago when he's just some, kid
Punk
from New York starting up, yeah, and I'm just some, punk getting out of school, from my bachelor's degree, starting in the liquor store. So, and in full fucking circle, here we are, tag teaming this shit like crazy. But I think that's to answer your question. I think that's probably what it was, is that we really wanted to establish ourselves, tried and true Texas bourbon, Texas whiskey. We're in the state capital. We know where we're at, and we know that in the kind of climate of hippie kind of culture, you don't drink as much as you partake in other kind of extracurriculars. And I don't think that for a lot of people has carried over like the hardiness that comes with like making whiskey.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably for the most part why some of that new make kind of got
pushed,
shelved and put away into the museum.
You gotta put you some THC and CBD in that shit, man. Gotta keep it weird.
What, man.
Gotta keep it weird.
Marijuana finished.
There you go.
Whiskey.
So I can tell you what distilled hemp tastes like. Tastes like fucking dill pickles. Yeah,
that's awesome.
But I do kind of on that same note, because I think with a lot of the rest of Texas, Austin gets a little bit of a bad name, like as far as being the hippie town or whatever. But I love the fact that y'all have completely embraced all of it, like you said, the wholesome side, the hearty side of whiskey, and kind of that artsy, hippie side of Austin. I know you can't really see it where you're sitting, but the background that I made tonight, I put a lot of thought into it because of how much thought y'all put into your labels. Mm-hmm. It's the same color background as your normal label, and then it's the blue skies with cloud for your normal bourbon. It's the nighttime for the cast strength. I can't really figure out which way to point.
That way you're good. Yeah, right there.
Always the bird.
Yes.
And then, so the cursive writing that says featuring is the port finished rye that y'all just released. And then the tattoo font for El Whiskalero is from your latest Madera finished. So it's things like that.
Is it also burnt orange in color?
It is burnt orange in color.
Make sure
that was a little bit of an ode to Emiliano, but cool. I mean, I love that y'all put a lot of thought into it, and y'all use local artists, and y'all come up with some really cool shit. Like, let's be honest, like the Wildcat or whatever with the cowboy hat for the Madera finish, tattoo thing, that was really cool. The idea of a passage from a writer on each one of the port finish. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, nobody's really doing that in the whiskey game, and I think it's pretty cool.
And let's be honest, they have one of my favorite backdrops when they go live somewhere.
Oh God, the stupid long.
I love the UT backdrop. First year I made James and is it Tyler?
I think so.
Yeah, James and Tyler were in town for the first Whiskey Fest, and I saw it when they were coming in during our pre-show. And I said, "Hey, when the night's over, I need you to flip that around so where I can take a picture in front of it." And they did. They hooked me up.
They did.
So,
hell yeah, man. No, I mean, I think we Mike Burkhart, who's the artist for the mainline products and then the bottle and bond products. I mean, he's a well-renowned artist, and he's done a lot of phenomenal work around the world, and with our products, our labels. I like that it's not exactly always my thing, because it makes me it humbles me and brings me back to reality that not everything is going to hit for every single person, but every single person is going to find something that hits for them.
Well, not just that. You guys' labels are really eye-catching too. Like walking down an actual
100%.
whiskey aisle, you're going to see them before you see anything else.
Because
it's the coloring, the styling of the art.
And that's kind of what I was going.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at a whiskey shelf, it is like even their different expressions are all the same label over and over and over again. And then you get to Still Austin, and it's like one with an artist with her hair on fire, one with a musician, one that's all black with the same that green really pops with the fire, and I mean and then you get a Wildcat, and you get a
don't forget the crow or raven or whatever it is with the blue corn one.
Yeah, I mean, and then all of the bottled and bond series, it's like there's some thought going into this. It's like, it's not, I don't have 14 of the same labels, even though they're all maybe different batches. It's not all 14 of the same label.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so, all right. So somebody that enjoys whiskey, but's never had Texas whiskey, walks into Still Austin, and you're the first one to greet them, and they're like, "This is my first experience with Texas whiskey. I don't want your normal proof down, white label stuff. I want to experience Texas whiskey for what it is. A flight of 3. What are you pouring from Still Austin?"
Well, so I'll keep it in the mainstay line even. I'll do our Bald and Bond rye, our red corn, and the Bald and Bond white corn, or the high rye, whatever you want to call it. Especially the red corn and the high rye being at the 5 and the 6 year respectively that they are now.
Yeah.
They're so fucking welcoming. They're so like, so inviting. I just don't know how you can get around to having that much flavor in a bourbon that's 6 years old in Texas and not having still that Texas funk. And I say that in every single way you can imagine. I love the Texas funk, so it kind of hurts me not to have it in there.
Right.
But at the same time, it's exciting in the fact that at 6 years it's not there. Man, you wait when this motherfucker hits like 10. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel Texas whiskey has a dog year effect to it. For every year in this humidity and this climate, it's like 2 years.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
So your 6 year drink's like a 12 year,
exactly,
roughly.
I'll say this, and there's been not enough scientific study on it, but just enough to have like a base understanding. Because of the Texas climate, for every year, it has been noted that there's approximately 2 years equal to anywhere else in the U.S. as far as flavor profile. For every one, it's 2. So a 2 year bourbon in the state of Texas,
it's a 4
you can
year,
imagine a 4 year anywhere else in the U.S.
Nice.
And then keep on going, however you like.
So our buddy, all of our buddy, we all know him, Brian from 10th Mountain Whiskey.
Yes.
So he kind of claims the same thing with their altitude in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any truth to that? Do you have any experience with that, or?
So my experience with that is the fact that I've tried a good chunk of whiskeys from Colorado. And for the way that they punch at the proof and the year that they are, I would totally understand, and that makes total sense to me. The caveat to that is apparently, however, they don't lose much to the angel share as much as we do.
Right.
So a whiskey in the state of Texas in 2 years loses and has the potential to lose upwards of like 10 to 15% of the whiskey in 2 years.
Right.
From what Brian and a couple of other folks have told me from Colorado is in 2 years, they're losing maybe 5%.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, and that's because of altitude. It's just it's so compressed, and the biometric pressure up there is so intense. It's creating more reaction with the wood and the spirit, but simultaneously it's still keeping everything into that barrel. And it isn't really allowing for much, extraction into the angel share. So we might be similar in flavor profile, but they're probably going to be somebody and a group of distilling community and folks that will probably have more as far as quantity by the end of our aging cycles. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that.
Which one is that?
The high rye. I think it's high rye. I'm trying to read your.
Yeah. If it's the HR high rye bottled and bond,
everything's coded. I can't read it.
Well, and now I'm gonna have to immediately run out and try to find. I don't know when it's supposed to hit shelves, but they're the 6-year high rye that you've been talking about all night.
Yeah.
Because I was extremely shocked, and I don't know if it's maybe it's the climate, maybe it's whatever, but so I have both the 2023 release of the Red Corn and the 5-year 2024 release of the Red Corn bottled and bond. The flavor profile from 1 year apart is nuts. Like I would put the 5-year bottled and bond Red Corn in my top 5 for whiskey of the year right now. Like it's that good.
It really is. It really is, man. I mean, it is just crazy, man. Because I mean, but again, we talk about that flavor development. You know, the 1 year is really equaling 2 as far as flavor development goes. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, man, it's just wild. It's crazy. Yeah. We were also able to try a couple of those same barrels from that same batch of that Red Corn that have now hit 6 years this week. And at 6 years,
God dang it!
I'll say this. So it says label says 5 years. Mm-hmm. At release, it's actually 5.5 years.
Right.
So 6 months down the line from when that was released, or at least bottled, to now, it just hit 6 years this week. Holy shit!
He's gonna make me take off work, drive halfway, sleep in my car, and then end up at Austin at like 6 a.m.
Right.
I can see that already. It's not like I ain't got the time.
Right. I mean, you got all the time in the world.
Yeah, man. So, I'm excited to see all these other releases. The Blue Corn is going to be highly anticipated. I think aside from the Red Corn, though, I'm excited for the rye. I just really am.
The straight rye, I guess the straight rye.
The bottled and bond. Yeah, the bottled and bond rye. Yeah. I say it just because it's, though I think subjectively, personally, I think that the red, the blue, and the high rye are better whiskeys to me personally. The rye is so fucking unique, man.
Yes, it's so unique.
It's just its uniqueness is what throws it above, a couple of other whiskeys for me.
Yeah, because y'all got a little bit more heat on your ryes than most ryes I think that I've tried on my palate, and that's even going back to just the cask strength rye. Mm-hmm. Like it's got that pepper to it.
Yeah, I think it's got the pepper, but what I've found also with the style of rye that we use, there is like a sweet, juicy berryness that is extracted out. That is what turns me into like a fan of it. Because like I can appreciate a traditional rye, I can appreciate a classic style rye. But at some point, like, you got to do something different, you got to do something that really makes it unique for me to really be like, yeah, I can fuck with this.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Shit, I had a question in my head.
Ooh, I got one.
Yeah, what you got?
So and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure I probably know this, but I'm drawing a blank on it. Does Still Austin do a American single malt of any kind? Okay.
I hate that shitting grin because I've seen this before. There's not one on the market.
There's not one on the market.
There's not
one on the market. So there's not one on the market. There's a couple barrels.
Okay.
Kind of hiding away.
Gotcha.
We'll see.
Gotcha. I know Bucky's not a fan of it.
I'll tell you what, it's good as fuck.
I'm sure it is. I mean, it's an American single malt.
I'll be the judge of that. I'll be the judge of that.
You're not the.
Actually, yeah. You know what, Bucky? You will. I've got a couple samples of it.
So
there you go.
I know you probably can't disclose much, but I was trying to decipher the code on the samples that you posted today. So I'm pretty sure it's just Still Austin is how it begins, but I'm trying to figure out what the rest of it is, because it's a bunch of letters and then numbers. I'm sure have something to do with batches and barrels and whatnots, but the letters I'm assuming has something to do with the mash bill, because I'm feeling like it's GB is like grain bill, and then there's some coating in the middle of that?
Not, and I'll tell you what, it's not grain bill.
Okay. Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
It's good.
It's good. They're good. That's all that matters. So so I have a Madeira finished rye sitting at the distillery currently that I just have not had a chance to pick up yet. As far as the Distillery Reserve Series goes, and if you say you'll help me out, I'm not going to talk to you. But we've been down that road. So what's next in the Distillery Reserve Series? Can you say anything? Does anybody know? Is there a...
Oh, I know. So I'll tell you what.
Is there hints? Can you give us a code?
Wait, can we tap it out in Morse code, baby? How good's your Morse code, Bucky?
So here's the thing. I'll say this. I won't tell you what type of whiskey it is. But it's Spiral Barrel Char 4.
Oh, okay.
So a spiral cut barrel Char 4. Going to be a 4 or 5 barrel blend, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we're sitting at about 106, 107 proof ish for that final proofing.
Okay.
And I'll also say this, just because we keep on saying 106, 107, 106, 107. For whatever fucking reason, man,
that's
our
whiskeys.
whiskeys,
that's the sweet spot for y'all.
It's like that fucking sweet spot, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I mean,
I don't got the bottles right here, but
you're not very far off. You're not very far off of that from your regular offerings, because your rye is 99.8, I think, and then your bourbon is like 98.6 or something. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you're not far off from that with your regular proof down offerings as well.
This rye is 99.6.
Yeah, 99.6 on the rye, but I don't know. Maybe that's a sweet spot for y'all.
Yeah, it really is.
Curiosity, what's barrel entry proof for y'all?
So right now it is 116. I can tell y'all that we have been experimenting, not exactly with our standard, essentially mash bills, right, but with when we did distill the next batch of the red corns earlier this year. We did some play around with entry proofs. So I think we went 116, 115, and then 114 for a couple of those batch entry proofs. Just to, just try to see how things kind of interact. I'll say, so that whiskey that I was telling y'all earlier about that we distilled and I put that mash bill together for, at 1 year, you could immediately pinpoint that at that time, you could let that whiskey sit in the barrel for another 3 years before you even start doing water reduction within the barrel. It is so flavorful, but simultaneously like nowhere near the Texas funk kind of style. And I say that having been that when I put that mash bill together and we distilled it, I said I want that into the barrel at 115. So a whole proof lower than what we typically enter it at. So,
do you find that lower entry proof does better in Texas? Because I know, like, what is it? Maker's Mark has gone all the way down to like 104, I think, at one point in their life. There's some experimenting in that 107, the 114 range. Do you find that a lower entry proof does better in Texas, or because I don't know what y'all were doing at Treaty Oak previously? Or what a whole lot of others are doing. I think Garrison Brothers does the 125 max, if I'm not mistaken. And then
I can't speak on Garrison. I don't know if that's for everything that they do.
Right now, don't quote me. Nobody quote me on that. I just
I did not say any of that. That's all him.
So at Treaty, we were doing a combination of 115 was our main entry proof for all of our whiskeys. Once we were able to do the last batches of the pot distillation for what would inevitably become the Ghost Hill batch, we wanted to like maximize the capability of our like output. So we entered those at 125. The whole thought process with the lower proofing is so there's a couple of things that go to it. One, especially in Texas, you'll probably be able to let that sit in the barrel for longer without it over oaking. The second kind of interesting philosophy that has come kind of within our radar pretty recently is that there's an old kind of barrel bottle philosophy when it comes to barrel entry proof, that you want to get your entry proof as close to your bottling proof. So the lower you put it in, the more that spirit is going to interact, like absorb the flavor and be similar to a proof down version that's inevitably going to go in the bottle. So if your entry proof is 102, 104, and your bottling proof is 99, let's say, you're so close within that like proofing range that the whiskey at 104 out of the barrel is going to be pretty fucking close as far as flavor profile to that proof down 99 that sits in the bottle.
Okay.
So the philosophy and the kind of theory behind it is that whatever you age it as is going to be, it's going to be best drank close to that proofing.
Interesting.
That's a good one. I like that. That's a very good explanation.
So, our Bama buddy Jake, he said Nancy Fraley batch Boo Rye. I've seen the label. Is there any truth to that?
Boo Rye. If there is,
I didn't know about it.
If there is, I didn't know about it, honestly. If there is, I'm excited about it because we've been pushing for a Boo Rye.
Really?
So I turned a lot of the distillers onto Boo Rye when I got over to Still. I'll say this, man. I'm not gonna I don't know. I'll take ownership to what I do as far as work, but I'm not gonna always try to be the guy who's like, I was that guy, you know. But coming into Still, aside from one other distiller, who's CJ, who previously also worked at another distillery in Texas, Ranger Creek. Shout out to Josh, head distiller over there. Aside from him, none of the other distillers, including John and Ryan, really had and still really have like this over kind of arching understanding of like Texas whiskey as a whole. So they weren't really familiar with a lot of Boo Ryes. And I know Whitmire does a Boo Rye. I think Bent had a Boo Rye, or technically still has a Boo Rye with their Bent 5.
What's that other
Treaty
one?
released an experimental Boo Rye way back in the day. So there's been Boo Ryes that have popped up in Texas. And ever since they tried it and tried some of these iterations and styles of it, I mean, it's hard to not be a fan of good whiskey, man. It just really is.
Yeah, but so if I'm not mistaken, and you can shake your head, no, shut the fuck up. I don't know if y'all can talk about your mash bill, but your rye mash bill, your straight rye, is 100% rye, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
yes,
when you do a Boo Rye blend with a 100% straight rye, that's going to affect it in a huge way whenever, as opposed to somebody like Knob Creek. Their rye is like 51% rye.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's barely legal rye.
Well,
So,
same with
I mean,
technically, it's all legal rye. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, right,
it's
no,
just legal rye.
I mean, I get it, but
I also get what you're saying.
The 100%,
you're pushing the fine line.
Right. The 100% rye mash bill is going to take a lot more on the Nancy Fraley nose blending side to get it perfect with y'all's bourbon mash bill to make that Boo Rye. Because I mean, I feel like that y'all's rye, as great as it is, could be a little overpowering for some that want to experience this bourbon rye mix.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It would be so the way I would see it happening is probably be anywhere from like a 4 to 6 barrel blend. It would just kind of be equal parts and you figure out what, like how many. I mean, realistically, you just you either go equal parts or you do a couple more bourbon barrels than rye barrels, or a couple more rye barrels than bourbon barrels. But all intents and purposes, that's what the Boo Rye is. It's just a blend of bourbon and rye. There's no real exact like mash bill kind of to it. If you want to say Boo Rye bourbon and make sure that the final mash bill would equate to more corn,
right?
Yeah, you know, I guess you could say that, but
give me a second, I'll tell you.
yeah, there you go, man. Look at you
just
doing
mix 'em
fucking
up, right?
Yeah, science on stream, man.
Science on stream.
Hit that nose.
But
let's see.
Yeah, I think I mean I genuinely think it would work.
It leans rye heavy.
And if that label is out there, first off, Jake from Coming Whiskey would have put it out and tagged me definitely in it.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I don't know.
Speaking of Coming Whiskey, I'm gonna butcher this completely, and you can laugh at me all you want because I'm a white guy.
Holy shit!
The O word corn. I'm not even gonna try.
Oh, the Oaxacan.
Oaxacan.
Yeah, the Oaxacan
corn.
green corn.
And that's a Nancy's Order only release, correct? What's the deal with that one?
So
it's Oaxaca. That's what the deal is.
Yeah. So it's Oaxacan green corn, man. It's a type of green corn that grows out in Oaxaca. That we apparently had some farmer in Texas grow out. And just decided to distill it. If I'm not mistaken, it's the same mash bill as our musician. So 70, 20, 70, 25, 5. But you just replace the 70 from white corn to green corn. If I'm not mistaken. Apparently, for the longest time, it tasted like shit.
Really?
And then for whatever reason,
it just turned
3 months ago. Everybody was like, "Holy shit, this is fucking phenomenal." Like,
have you ever worked with green corn?
I have not.
I've never even heard. Like, I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it in anything.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I ain't even seen it in person. So, you know, I've never even seen it in person. I know that there's like over 400 different type of varietals of like corn just in like Mexico. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that there's gonna like some probably pink, burnt orange, whatever fucking crazy colored corn either. But you know, I'll tell you what, man, it tastes fucking good. It really is. It really is fucking good.
And I think I found my new favorite mixture of y'all stuff. That was pretty good.
That leans very, very rye. You'd have to do a little more on the bourbon.
Yeah.
The bourbon side if you wanted to appeal to the bourbon drinker with a Boo Rye.
Well, I did it with equal parts blue corn and high rye.
Oh, okay.
Is what I did with it.
Well, that's okay. So that's very bourbon heavy as it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it was some residual in your glass or something.
I used a clean one
because that was very rye spicy. But the high rye bottled and bond is if I'm not mistaken, y'all's normal mash bill, correct?
Yeah.
And then the blue corn just replaces.
The high rye bottled and bond and the straight rye are musician and artist at minimum 4 years.
Is this their regular bourbon right here?
Yeah, that's the regular 98.4 white label.
I'll steal your words. My earballs are. I'm thinking on the fly here.
No, absolutely.
God damn, I can't.
So that's all it is, man. Experiment.
Right.
Oh, don't tell me that, Emilio.
Emilio.
I will be all over the place. I mean, I've literally pitched you smoking shit over cigar leaves and all kind of other stuff. So I mean, let's not turn my imagination on too much.
So I'm gonna take rare stock out of the equation here, just because that's not fair. Your current favorite pour from Still Austin.
Man,
I'm gonna say blue corn bottled and bond is mine.
Okay.
I like that.
A lot of people echo that same opinion, and I think Emiliano would say that the same thing. The blue corn, when it hit, everybody was like, "Holy shit, this is it."
So here's the thing. So first off, I'll give you your answer. I think it's the red corn, man. Honestly,
the new one,
the fifth year,
yeah,
the 5th year edition.
Mm-hmm.
I just really think so, man. It just really is. It's really that fucking good.
I feel like I need a centrifuge for this. Yeah,
One of those.
There you go.
The
the
frother thing. Yeah.
Oh,
should I have one in the house?
You know what I meant?
Damn it.
Sign language.
Yeah, no, whatever. The fuck.
I have one in the house.
And then, oh fuck, what was your question? You also made a point.
Yeah.
Oh, the blue corn. So I will say this about the blue corn. Reason why I'm really excited to see how it is this year is because, so for me last year, the only reason why I gave the edge to the red corn over the blue corn was because when I look at a whiskey and when I think about like drinkability or like how good it is, I think about how the flavor carries over from the first pop to the last pour. The red corn from open to end is phenomenal. It carries everything over. It opens up extremely well. It sits nice. It's a phenomenal whiskey. The blue corn, you have to toss out that first neck pour. It's flat. It's one note. It's not really creative. It's not that it's a bad whiskey. For whatever reason, though, last year's first pop neck pour of that blue corn just was extremely underwhelming. Yeah. Having tried it at barrel proof straight from the barrel, the final blend, and then trying it at 100 proof in blending like small batch kind of tasting notes style, phenomenal. Something happened from filtration to bottling that cut that out, and that first neck pour just needs to open up. But after that neck pour, it's one of the best whiskeys we ever put out.
Well, and that was the one that Roy was like, "Hey, I'm stealing this from you," and he wouldn't show me which one it was.
The blue corn.
He put it back on the table, and it's the blue corn.
It's the blue corn.
Yeah.
He absolutely loved it. It's good, but after I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but after I tried that 5-year red corn bottled in bond, I mean that was the end of it. Now, to Bama Jake's point, the April 2024 Nancy's pick, probably one of my favorite pours of all time from y'all. I have the bottle and I have a sample of it somewhere in this hodgepodge of shit because I have so many bottles of y'all's that I don't even know what to say.
My name's Bucky and I have a problem.
No, it's not a problem. We've talked about this. I mentioned it to Emiliano. It's not a problem. It came straight out of his mouth. It's not a problem. I've been told by the distiller himself it's not a problem.
I'm just saying at some point you're going to have to break down and buy a Highland cow.
But that April 2024 Nancy's pick was everything rum wants to be when it grows up, and it's everything I love about bourbon. And it's because there's so many different nuances and sweetnesses and lingering things about it that you almost can't put it up against anything else because it's a Nancy Fraley single barrel pick. You know what I mean?
I'm posing this question to your wife. If I buy y'all a Highland cow, can you name it Bevo?
No, it will not be named Bevo. But speaking of my wife, who does not drink whiskey, she blatantly has admitted multiple times and tonight again, the mixed drink would be y'all's frozen old fashioned at the distillery. She loves it, and she's not a whiskey drinker.
Yeah, man, that frozen old fashioned, that cold fashioned is wild.
Yeah,
wild, so damn good.
I like the blue corn. I need to find the red corn though. I hadn't seen it yet. I need to try that.
We did the red corn. It's the one that beat JW Dan in the bottled and bond challenge.
Okay, I have had that one. That one's good too. I like the blue corn. I give the slight edge to the blue corn though.
I don't know if you've had
it's
this
something
one.
about that.
That's
blue
the
corn.
April Nancy's pick.
No, I'm not. I'm not Jake. You don't share shit like this.
Oh my God! Here we go. See, this is the drama I deal with.
No, it's the drama that you deal with for doing 2 podcasts. That's what the drama is. You do 2 podcasts back-to-back nights.
So, when can we expect the top 10 list to start for this year?
He said October.
Do you start at October 1 or do you?
Yeah, so October 1 of last year, so 2023 October 1, I started my samples. So
Right.
everything from that day onward to the end of September this year, anything that I tried that was of note, I'm putting away in 100 mil samples from Agent Or, and I'm putting them off into the side. They're all marked up, labeled. I know exactly what it is, and and it's gonna sit and wait. And come October, I'm gonna just take some time, sit down, put it together.
Do you
Taste
post
things
do you
nicely
post
and
the taste-
slowly,
do
and
you do you post your tastings on Instagram as you do them, or
I think I'm going to this year. I'm trying to like really obviously like fine tune how I'm doing this process, and I really enjoyed like just being able to sit down, see what I'm tasting, have a whole catalog in person of what I tried over the year last year.
yeah?
So having done that and kind of like figure out, all right, cool, I've got my samples, I got them all marked out. I will say again, shout out to another influencer, Drink with Wayne.
Yeah,
He's been doing something that is like super cool,
dude.
where
Yeah,
he blind tastes, point, puts together like a point score, and based off of the point score is what he will inevitably put together for his top 10 at the end of the year.
did you see
I'm
his
thinking I
rating of the
might do
5-year?
something. Yeah, 91.
Yeah.
I'll take it, man. I'll fucking take it.
Yeah.
Hey, anything in the 90s is. Honestly, I'll say this. Even just to be a little kind of more like humbled and brought us down to the ground. 85 and up. I'll take 85 and up. From anything I do, and have attached to my name. But so yeah, October will be when I start posting these top tens, and the goal will be to release it sometime in December when inevitably everybody else is doing the top tens. But for me, you will not see anything that is released in October, November, or December of 2024. That's going to be kicked off to next year's.
And for those just tuning in, it is strictly Texas whiskey, correct?
I'm going to do strictly Texas whiskey, but there's been some fucking whiskeys out there, man, that have just rocked so hard. I might have to do a separate one also, like just an outside of Texas list. Because, man, shout out to Tyler Glasser from Stranahan.
Yeah.
Holy shit, they make good whiskey, bro. Damn, they make good whiskey.
What would be that next state outside of Texas that you feel like you gravitate toward?
Oh, bro, honestly, probably Colorado. But I mean, that's just the single malt in me.
Me too.
I mean, Stranahan's, realistically, at this point, Stranahan's is, in all intents and purposes, one of our like sister distilleries. We are trading back and forth all the time. Just a bunch of whiskey. We're keeping in touch with the folks up there.
They do their buddy pass, which is really good.
Yeah.
That's Breckenridge.
That is Breckenridge. Right after I said that,
Roy don't know what he's talking about.
Okay,
I know, yeah.
Well, because they have a private like group. Is that not? I guess it's not.
No. So the Buddy Pass from Breckenridge, it's bourbon that's finished in a stout barrel.
A stout barrel or something.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought it was like a selective group.
No.
Because Stranahan's has like a private club.
Yeah,
it's called something, but yeah.
Kind of like the order of Nancy that I'm still not in, but we're just not gonna.
Yeah, I know.
Order of...
Believe me, I
came
in.
No, don't even. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just. If I don't give you shit,
if
I don't give you shit, my night's not complete.
Well, then we're not
Nancy
friends,
has her own
right?
order.
Right.
Good lord.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she had her own order.
The order of Nancy. Shit.
Didn't realize it.
It's Nancy Fraley.
But yeah, I think probably as far as the next state, it's Colorado.
Absolutely.
I'll say one of, if not my favorite distillery, not in Texas, is Chattanooga. But I'm just not a fan of much else, much other Tennessee whiskeys.
Okay. What about?
But
let's go. Basic, white girl, whatever you want at Starbucks, Kentucky bourbon.
What?
What would you choose?
How the hell do you put
Oh,
white
bro.
girl
No, well, Starbucks
and
is like that basic
Kentucky
white
bourbon
girl
all in the same sentence?
drink, right? So Kentucky bourbon is the Starbucks of the bourbon world.
So you could have just said tater whiskey. What's your tater?
Or tater,
whiskey?
okay.
There you go.
I mean,
Yeah,
no.
I can relate to
Kentucky bourbon. It doesn't have to be Buffalo Trace if it's not.
No, my tater whiskey that I will, as long as it's like maximum 105, maybe $110. Stag Junior, period, all the fucking time. And I'm not gonna just call it Stag. That's stupid. I was well within the era of it being Stag Junior.
Right.
The Stag Junior. If it is under 110, hopefully and ideally closer to that 70 MSRP price point. If I find that any fucking where, it's a must get.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Duly noted.
I've got
Very duly noted.
got close to about 8 or 9 cases of Stag Junior.
Dang.
So you don't need any more, is what you're saying.
I've only got repeats of batch 12, which I didn't know at the time is apparently considered like one of the best batches ever.
Okay.
And then I've got multiple of the WB Liquors pick, which was the first ever single barrel pick for Stag Junior and was specifically picked for my store when I was at
I did not know that. I didn't even know they did store picks.
Oh, what? Yeah. Well, yeah.
I've never seen one, but
holy shit. Yeah, no. Yeah, they do store picks and WB Liquors for whatever reason. I don't know how they but yeah, they were the first ones to do a single barrel with them. Yeah.
That's exactly what I ordered, Junior, Kevin. One of our buddies, Kevin, he said Bucky and his soy white mocha lattes with extra whip and sprinkles. I don't know how he knows what my Starbucks order is.
That would be you for sure.
Starbies. Hashtag Starbies.
Yeah, that would be you. I like my coffee black.
Apparently, the Rabbit store has a store pick. And yes, Jake, we know you're a proof whore and you love Stag.
Yes, we know. We all know. We know.
I mean, I'll say this: I've come to a point to where I'm not exactly a proof whore. I prefer higher proofs.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Stag Junior, yeah, I'll drink any fucking proof. Like that shit is just always. I've not had one batch that has been.
I think we have. What do we have? 23B. It's like 133 proof or something.
That's the other thing. So the WB Liquors pick was the highest proof pick ever done by Stag Junior.
We have
and
132.2 22A.
22A, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the WB pick, if I'm not mistaken, that I've got is 138.2.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like just right there before it has that.
So what would your favorite low proof whiskey, bourbon,
Benchmark.
single malt? Okay.
Benchmark.
Really?
Benchmark. Oh,
interesting.
Baby. Give me a handle plastic bottle of Benchmark. I'm a happy man. Happy man.
Okay.
Oh yeah, man. I love Benchmark. I think Benchmark is probably
like
so
just the plain,
underrated.
normal
just plain
Benchmark.
Jane number 8 or number 6, whatever.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Benchmark, yeah. Yeah, man. I'll say this. So obviously I'm working in the industry already for quite some time, but when my wife and I got married at the time, I was already 3-4 years in like the sales, retail, marketing portion of it. And I was pretty well acquainted with whiskey and, different types. And at that point, like Benchmark had already been like, love it. It's got a sweet, very like specific spot in my heart for it.
What up, Rick?
That was our whiskey for oh no, you're good. That was our whiskey for our wedding, and everybody fell in love with it. Everybody was like, "What the fuck is this?" They thought I was pulling out like the fucking nines and everything, and then I just showed them the empty like
handle,
like 6 handles of plastic bottle whiskey. They're like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is one of my favorite whiskeys."
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
So I'm curious on does Jake posted something and it made me think of a question because I was looking at our bottle while he was posting his thing. 22B is really dang good. It's 130 even. So Does 2 proof points make that much of a difference?
Man, I'll tell you what.
I'm trying to figure it out in my head.
I will tell you what. So
he is clapping. You know it's serious.
Yes.
So I'll
the slow clap is a thing.
When you got to think about this. So when you are batching all of this whiskey together, let's say in a perfect pristine world, you've got 2 filled to the brim 6-year-old barrels of whiskey.
Right.
Perfect circumstances, whatever reason happened, they're both at 50 gallons. You only lost 3 gallons in each. Let's say,
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect
world.
Right?
Yeah, we started with that.
I know.
Yeah, you put it into a batch, 100 gallons. All right, at 100 gallons, let's say it's 114 proof. Well, if you want to get it down just 2 proof points, you're gonna have to add minimum like close to 4 gallons of water.
Oh wow!
So you've now created more mass in that mixture.
Yeah.
That is going to lower the proof, but completely change the flavor profile. And that's just for 2 proof points.
Wow.
So does 2 proof points matter? I'll say in a small, very fine kind of like in your glass thing, yes and no. Yes, because 1 droplet in a decent pour, it's gonna cut the proof like really crazy. In the grand scheme of things, 100%, those 2 proof points mean a fuckload.
Got you.
So yeah, and like I said, man, when we put together that Tanager, the cigar blend, we liked it at 107. We thought it was really fucking good. It was not gonna get any better.
Nice.
I proofed it in our small kind of mini vat to 106, and we said this is the best thing that we're gonna ever fucking release.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I think the proofs matter. The 1 and 2s, yeah. You gotta watch them.
Yeah. I was trying to read this comment at the same time.
So does that mean that the yield on 22B was less than they thought, so they had to proof it down to get more out of it? That's a thought process there. Like,
yeah.
Hey, we've got to get 300 bottles out of this. Let's proof it down a little.
Yeah,
is that a thing?
I mean, it technically is a thing. It would, I don't think necessarily though, then qualify for cask strength.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't. Well,
so
would it if you poured the water into the barrel and then dumped it?
That's no. You're actually you're fucking completely you're completely right at that point, because our cask strength for the cask strength bottles that you have, they're coming out at that proof. So yeah, technically,
right.
It would work.
All you're doing at this point is stroking Jake's ego, right?
Oh no, I mean it's a
joke. Everybody take a breath. It's a joke.
I was just thinking,
it's a joke.
From a distillery mindset.
I get it.
Like, you could still call it cask strength if you proofed it down in the barrel.
The whole reason I posed the question because, like, I listen to you and Jake a lot when y'all do your Thursday night thing, and you're like, oh, barrel number XYZ 123 is better than XYZ 456. I'm like, it's still pretty much the same either way you look at it. I mean, good whiskey is good whiskey. Emiliano said it himself earlier. Good whiskey is good whiskey.
Well, no, yeah, absolutely at the end of the day. But I'm going to tell you now, this is nothing, absolutely nothing compared to this. And these are both single barrels.
Okay.
2 different barrels, 2 completely different taste profiles.
I get that.
So,
like, I get that aspect.
That's my thought on it.
I just don't, I guess with me, I don't really go full on whiskey nerd with it. I go with how it feels on my palate. if it's proofed enough.
I'm telling you now, and Emiliano can vouch for this. I'll go full whiskey nerd because I'm like, hey, what do you know about pecan wood, and what do I do with it, and can I do something, and what are you, and he's like, yeah, you could like toast it and put it in there and try it. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'll go full nerd and like want to nerd out on all of it.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, I geek out with this shit too. The beautiful thing is looking at seeing pallets of whiskey that have been banded together for years and sat together on the same pallet next to each other, were distilled at the same time, barreled at the same time, and the ones sitting right next to each other touching taste nothing alike.
Now, see, that aspect I do like about it.
Yeah.
Like that's the aspect I like about it. But like all the
that shit is so insane.
This barrel XYZ better than ABC, and
yeah,
I don't get down that road. I find one that I like, and I'm like, hey, I like that one.
I feel you, man. Hey, it works out. It works out.
I keep it very simple. There's no high maintenance on this end of the table. Not at all.
What can I say?
Easy man to please, man. Hell yeah.
All right. Well, shit.
So to answer your question, the Nancy's pick reminds me a lot of the Andalusia one that I brought back.
Absolutely not.
In
no way, shape, or form. And no, it's the complete opposite of the Andalusia pick that you brought back.
I don't think it is.
Oh,
at least not on
you're just hating, Bucky.
At least not on my stuff.
Look, I'll hate on a lot of single malts, but I do respect and love me some Texas whiskey, and Andalusia is not one I will hate on. Even if I don't like their stuff, I will not blatantly come out and hate on some Andalusia.
Yeah, because we might fight.
We might, which people would probably pay to see.
Yeah.
What do you got pouring up now?
Well, so y'all were talking Nancy pick. I'm working through the last bit of my my birthday month, so the March one.
Okay.
This one was, I think, the one that was so fucking interesting because the flavor profile that throws me off, that I've been able to pick out every single flavor profile that Nancy lists except for the blue cheese on the fucking nose, man.
That's a weird one.
She's got blue cheese on this one. Yeah, I mean, she says like bacon wrapped medjool dates with blue cheese, and I'm like, I get the dates.
Okay.
I get the little kind of like fattiness, saltiness from the bacon.
Right.
I don't get the blue cheese. And don't get me wrong, I fucking love blue cheese.
You're gross.
So, well, you're a Sooner, so I don't know what's next.
Andy doesn't like single malt or Scotch. Not just the fact that he's a Sooner.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's a great whiskey, but I've gone back to it little by little, trying to get a grasp of that blue cheese, and I just don't fucking find it, man.
That's weird. Blue cheese is kind of a weird one. Like, I've heard candy ham. I've heard a lot of weird stuff, but blue cheese is kind of one of those.
That's a little different for me. But then again, nobody's going to argue with her about it.
Well, but and like,
exactly.
Like something I don't get on a lot of whiskeys, whether they're finished or not, is plum. But on the port finished rye,
that's where I go. I go a lot like
on
dark,
the nose, and I love it.
Like, to me, it's dark plum, dark cherry, that type shit. That's where my palate goes.
But the port rye for me is like specifically like candied plum.
And see, I don't get anything sweet on my palate at all. 9 times out of 10.
Agreed, though. I think you're right. I got a lot of those like dark, dense, date, plum, flavor notes on that.
Right.
What's been your
port finish.
What's been your favorite Distillery Reserve release?
All time from while I've been here.
I mean, I guess
Let's go both.
Yeah, is there a difference? I mean,
okay. Actually, yeah, we can go both. All right. So while I have been here,
just real quick, P.S. Jake from Bama has said all of his money is on Emiliano if this fight happens. I'm gonna come out smelling like a rose in my bank account.
Are you gonna bet? Are you gonna bet?
I'm gonna bet on. I'm gonna bet on Emiliano.
Oh man. But okay, so yeah, while I've been at Still, my favorite Reserve Series release was, oh man. No, yeah, I would probably say the fourth iteration of the Monster Mash. That one was just
Mike
so
Cinnabourbon. He raves on that one,
bro. Every single batch. So thus far, I think the next year will be the last batch of the first ever distilled and made Monster Mash.
really.
Yeah, we've got we just did the final blend for this year's Monster Mash.
Yeah,
It's kicking. It is really fucking good.
that's the only one in the year and a half ish that I've really jumped on the Still Austin train. The Monster Mash is the only one I've been like, probably gonna pass on.
You gotta try it. I've got plenty of it. We'll try it next.
No, absolutely.
You gotta also give me a heads up when you're coming into town, man.
Well, I mean,
that was my bad.
like,
I know. Hey, well,
Yeah,
that wasn't fair because I wasn't even. There was no plans to come to Austin.
we'll give you a date off air because I know a date in particular.
But after our conversation for the whole Texas heater project that I have,
yeah,
I had to make a special trip. Like that was just that was all. That was all
Fair.
you, me. Yeah, that was different.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll absolutely get a heads up next time I'm coming to town.
Cool. Yeah, man. So I can bring some whiskey and shit.
I know a date already.
But okay, so Monster Mash.
So yeah, Monster Mash. While I've been to the distillery, I think the Monster Mash is probably my favorite release. All time, the 100% wheat. And again, we're not including the rare. We're not including the rare stock. That's
Take
a
rare
very
stock.
different
There was a
thing.
375. That was different.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
John
we're not
doing
doing
his
that.
thing. Like that was.
Yeah.
That one's.
I'm
not
telling you
fair.
right now, though, you're not ready for the next rare stock.
God dang it.
You're not ready for it. That next one, holy shit.
So the mash bill is going to be different.
I'm not. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be a complete different whiskey.
Right.
I'll leave it at that. It's gonna be a complete different
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But all time, yeah, it's probably gonna be the 100% wheat. That one is so fucking good. So fucking good. Might also be doing something with the last 100% wheat barrel that we have previously. You never know.
Yeah, it's funny. My wife brags on Emiliano all the time. By the end of this entire like relationship type
She's
thing,
gonna hate him.
She's gonna hate him.
Just like she does. Just like she does me. She hates me currently.
Like as many times as we've been to Still Austin, the one time we got Emiliano in April, and ever since then, with everything that she's seen with him on Instagram and coming on this show and all that, she just nothing but brags on him. And by the end of it, she's gonna be like, "That mother, if he texts my husband one more motherfucking time."
There's gonna be at some point where I'm just gonna be like, "Hey, Bucky, you want to go have these tomorrow?"
Right, exactly.
We'll just split the juice, man. We'll just split the juice.
Oh man,
I wouldn't know. I never get those conversations. I'm the guy that does all the shit behind the scenes.
so we are quickly approaching 2 hours, and I don't want to. I've heard your kids in the background all night. I don't want to keep you too super long. I know you have to work. Well, tomorrow's Saturday, so maybe not.
I am doing a cook tomorrow, so
You are doing a cook tomorrow.
Yeah, I
sometime
say,
I gotta get it.
I
Yeah.
feel Emiliano is a gym rat. I feel he's there all the time.
A gym rat.
Distillery rat? I mean,
I
He's
don't
got them
sleep much, I'll
guns.
say that. I mean, I
Gym
don't
rat.
sleep much, but yeah.
distillery rat?
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
can we refer to it as that?
Maybe.
Not a distillery rat. That sounds bad. We've had distillery rats before.
That's a real problem.
Yeah, that's an actual problem. We
Can't do
gotta
that
come
one.
up with different ones. Yeah, different terminology.
We'll go gym rat then.
Yeah, stick with gym rat.
Stick with the gym rat.
But I cannot thank you enough for coming on tonight. I know it was kind of a sort of last minute thing as we brought it all together, and I know it's a lot different than going live on Instagram where you can just jump on and off as you please.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your patience and doing this with us. If you want to go ahead and give everybody kind of just let them know where they can find you and how to follow along with everything that you're doing with the Texas whiskey scene. You post some really cool behind the scenes stuff with Still Austin. So how does everybody find you?
Yeah, man. Right now it's just Instagram, El Whiskylero. It's Whiskylero like a vaquero, but just with whiskey.
The whiskey maker.
I'm pretty much just there on Instagram doing my thing. If anything, I just want to like make sure everybody also follows folks like Texas Whiskey Geek.
Right.
He's a great guy to be kind of keeping up in the whiskey world, kind of events and releases. And then just follow your favorite kind of Texas distillery, man. I mean, they're, for the most part, everybody's figuring out that this Instagram social media thing has to fucking happen. Yeah. And for better or worse, some people like it, some people don't. Some people do it good, some people don't. And we're just trying to bring them all together. But yeah, man, I mean, I appreciate y'all letting me know and having me on. And Bucky, fucking anytime, just a call away. I can't believe you waited till the last second till me seeing it and be like, I mean, I can go, get on if you want to. It's like, I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, I can get on. Like, you just gotta let me know. But yeah. So no, man, I appreciate y'all, man. It's always good having these chats. I think this is like
you're becoming the faith. You're the face of Still Austin.
Man, I was gonna say this is like the 7th or 8th podcast in the last 2.5 weeks, and I mean, hey, man, it's fun though. It's fun. It's all fun games, and
your thing though on Instagram, ATX Whiskey Society with
with Brandon. So ATX Whiskey Society, we're just kind of like trying to make things happen, man. You know, it's one sip at a time, one drink at a time, and realistically, we're just kind of like a no bullshit, all inclusive crew. Yeah. Based out here in Austin, and we really live by like there's something for everybody, and you know, just drink what you like, and except for Fireball. Fuck
yeah, don't drink that.
And then but I mean, you know, just come through. We talk shit, we have fun, and we hang out, and you know, we do small little gatherings, get-togethers every so often. Usually at Still, but sometimes at one of our locations or at my storage unit, we'll just we'll kick it. But yeah,
absolutely, 100%. I appreciate you coming on, bud. This has been a blast.
Yes,
thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your cook tomorrow morning. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Salud.
You're my brother.
You notice he didn't do an Oklahoma hand sign because I don't think they have one.
Shut up. I hate both of you.
That's funny.
Oh, man. Well, God dang it. I forget how big this is.
That is too funny.
And I can't do it while we're live. So it's just going to stay that big. We're big heads on screen. Again, 100%. So much love to Emiliano. He's such a great dude.
100%.
I'm not joking. Like, he's literally becoming the face of Still Austin.
I feel that,
and he does such a great job.
He's all over the place, man. You can find him anywhere.
If you're in Austin, do not sleep on Still Austin. Like, go visit, do the tour, have the drinks, hang out, do the food truck. Like, it's a great place to hang out and be. Like, it really is.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
So
I'll make it out there at some point.
At some point, you're gonna have to. But this was a blast. Like, walking through all of these were so much fun.
They were good, yeah.
Again, we've made it happen for the past few years, a couple years. But we're growing, and there's big things coming.
Oh shit! There's a big announcement for next week. We're gonna have somebody in that chair. Confirmed today. Well, I got to confirm it Monday, but it was talked about today.
No, okay. So not confirmed today.
Yeah, not confirmed.
Not confirmed.
The conversation was had. I got to confirm it on Monday. He did say he wanted to come in. So
okay.
I'll tell you.
I'm down.
I'll tell you off air.
Let's confirm it before we announce it.
Yes.
But kind of where I was going with that, and I can't thank these people enough for finally coming on board and finally getting behind what we're doing.
Yes.
After they were fans of the show, friends of the show, on the show, guests of the show, Longhorn Liquor, 10th Mountain Whiskey, Ghostwood, and Heart of a Lion have all stood behind us for the past at least couple years, if not, a little bit shorter with Ghostwood and a couple others, but cannot do this. We could not continue to do this without our sponsors at this point, because we were getting to that point where it's like, how do we do, like, where do we go now? And I think these sponsors and the ones we're in talks with to grow even more are really going to help us continue to do what we love to do and get guests like Emiliano and so many more, because that's what this is all about. The community. That was the main thing behind the hashtag 2024 FG family, is how do we grow that? We want the 2024 FG family and beyond, the FG family in general, to grow into something that it hasn't been, as we continue to want to get bigger and do more and be a part of the community even more.
No, I 100% agree.
So
we've taken our shots, we've paved our way.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's going to be shots fired and all that good stuff. So
100%.
that is not a slide at anybody neither. I don't want to hear that kind of crap. I've heard enough of that this week.
This was a ton of fun. Still Austin. If you can't tell from all the sample bottles on the table, is 100% truly one of my favorite distilleries out there.
They're doing some really good stuff. I'm not
take
gonna lie.
state out of it, take whatever out of it. Still Austin truly is one of my favorites at this moment.
Their blue corn's legit. The Nancy's is good. I think I'm a little – God, I feel like I'm going to burst into flames for saying this. I'm a little less on it than you and Jake are.
And that's fine. That's everybody's
It's good.
palate. Right.
But, I mean, to listen to y'all talk about it and then try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there may be, I'm not going to lie to you, there may be a little residual from
somewhere.
all of the other pours.
There could be. There very well could be.
Because I was trying to alternate on my funnels a little bit.
Yeah.
So there may have been a little residual. I don't know. But and I wasn't kidding. The 5-year red corn bottled and bond is absolutely on my list for whiskey of the year this year, based off of what I remember trying to this point.
Gotcha.
So yeah, ton of fun. This is the kind of stuff I enjoy doing. The bottled and bond bracket that we did is the stuff I enjoy doing.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's been one of my favorites.
These are the things, like the deep dives. The how do we find something other than the $125 bottle that every other Instagram account is doing? Like we've never been that show.
No, we've never been that show. We've always dabbled down the.
So I mean, this has been a ton of fun.
The more craft side of the business.
There's going to be a lot of other. There's going to be a lot of other things coming, and I'm excited for the future. Real quick, since we did mention Longhorn Liquor as a sponsor,
yes.
Tomorrow, Saturday, August 17th, all stores open at 10 a.m. They are dropping 2 brand new single barrels, in addition to one that's kind of been on the shelf as well for a couple days, and they're down to their last few bottles, actually. Last I checked, there were 39 RD1 Amberana finish, cast strength Longhorn Liquor picks left, which is not very many. So there are a few of those left, but they're dropping a 8-year, 10-month OESV Four Roses and a 6-year, 106 proof Whistle Pig Private Select as well.
At the piggyback, I think?
Yeah, the piggyback. The locations all 3 of those bottles will be available at is Houston, Mont Belvieu, Beaumont, Lumberton, Silsbee, Katy, Groves, Nederland, Port Neches, and Mauriceville.
I like the fact that they're doing more stuff in Silsbee.
I am happy about Silsbee getting some of these. We've pushed for that for a long time.
Yep.
So that's really good. But I like the fact that it's distributed into multiple locations, because one of the things I hear is, well, Beaumont gets all the love. It's kind of the hub. It's the main store. It's the biggest store. It's the easiest to get a lot of people in. But this one will will be available in all 10 of those locations. So get out, get you one. Don't miss it. I promise you this Four Roses pick is absolutely worth it.
Unless you're unemployed, then you can miss out on one and get away.
The Whistle Pig one, I will admit, I've not been a Whistle Pig fan to date. Mm-hmm. However, based off of what I've been told by the man who's sat in this chair before multiple times, absolutely worth it. So I'm kind of excited about this one. I think I'm going to end up with one.
There you go.
And I think I'll do a review on it. I'm excited.
There you go.
Yes, Kevin, 1,000%. It got my Delicious stamp, and I don't put that on very many Ambaranas, if any at all. To date, that one got it. At cast strength, the RD1 single barrel pick that we did at Longhorn absolutely deserved that Delicious stamp. So get you one of those before they sell out. But the Four Roses, absolutely, the Whistle Pig, from what I hear, is good. So I'm excited about all three of them dropping.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
If you're ready.
I'm always ready.
What hasn't been opened yet?
Fuck, I don't know.
Everything's been opened.
Just about, yeah.
I got a bourbon cast strength regular.
That doesn't look like it's been opened.
The rye bottled. This is the straight rye, 100% rye, bottled in bond, that beat Smoke Wagon.
Okay.
In our play-in challenge. So we'll go with this one. I'll go with this one. Great show tonight, bud. Thank you to everybody who chimed in, tuned in, and watched along as Emiliano joined us. That was a ton of fun. Hopefully we'll be able to get a few more guests on as we go along. Hey, Bama Herban Bourbon. I be needing that Four Roses. We all be needing roses. Guys do like Four Roses as gifts. Women are not the only ones that like roses as surprise gifts, by the way.
What's that?
This is rye cast strength, which you have on the table.
In the middle.
Bourbon cast strength, which you don't have on the table.
Okay. Give me the bourbon cast strength.
You can go with that.
It looks like it hadn't been open. I'll give it some love. Everything else looks like it's pretty much been open.
Yeah, right. Both of my cast strength offerings that I have at the house are very, very close to empty. So I probably either need to finish them off or dump them into my tiny barrel that I'm doing an infinity barrel in.
There you go.
But again, thank you all. This has been a ton of fun. So if you're ready,
I am.
I'm ready.
Uh-huh.
Let's go for alcohol.
Whiskey is good. Whiskeys are better.
Yes, sir. I like it. You can never go wrong with whiskeys on a table. Whether that's Friday nights.
That's a good one.
It is. Their cast strength bourbon's really good. Whether it's Friday nights here with us at the Functional Gentleman, as we pour up multiple whiskeys, as y'all pour up whiskey at home. If we're all sharing whiskeys, it's a good time.
Right.
If you're together and you're doing a bottle share, there's whiskeys. It's always a great time.
Always a great time.
We cannot think of a better way to kick off the weekend than with you, than with me, than with all these people in the comments. This is how we want to do it every Friday. It's a functional Friday.
Yeah.
As always, function your way. We've been the Functional Gentlemen. You've been amazing.
Right.
You ready?
Sure.
Hit that music. My mouse isn't working. I'm going to say it again. Hit that music.
Hit that music.
My mouse still isn't working.
My tongue, get what I deserve. Trendsetter, I got style for you. Ain't seen you at the top, it's been a while for you. Big you up and they look down on you. Take one loss, no one's around for you.